Brother lads, welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. We'll come back to a brand new video. It's been a long while, but I've had a bit of flu, but now I'm back. We've got to talk about Mikel Arteta. There's a lot of conversation about the manager of recent, and not only the Arsenal manager, but of course Pep Guardiola and a couple of managers that have been sacked. So Mikel Arteta finds himself in the midst of that conversation, whether we've got to sack him or we've got to back him until the end of the campaign and then evaluate his work come the end of the campaign. I want to get your thoughts about the manager generally. Do we sack him? Are you Mikel Arteta in or Mikel Arteta out? I don't think we will sack him. Honestly, I don't think at this point in time Arsenal are going to sack their manager. I don't think the Cronkies are going to sack Mikel Arteta. But I remember saying yesterday, before we played Crystal Palace, that I would be Arteta out if we lost that game. And again, it goes down to the decisions that Mikel makes in games, before games and after games as well. And that's why I want us to talk about him as a manager. But hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know, are you Mikel Arteta in or are you Mikel Arteta out at the moment? I think there is now a huge divide. And there's a lot of consensus between the fan base that the manager in recent days, in recent performances, has actually cost us. He took off Martin Odegaard in both games, Everton and Fulham, when we were looking for a goal. And what is actually crazy is that he was looking for a goal against Crystal Palace and he brought on Martin Odegaard, and Odegaard assisted twice. I'm not saying that Odegaard has had the best performances and therefore taking him off as a big mistake. But what I'm trying to say is, why do you take off your only creative player if you're looking for a goal? So we've got to talk about Mikel Arteta. I don't know, for like yet another time on the channel. We always talk about Mikel. I think he's a decent manager. I think he's done a great job. But let's talk about him. So let's start off with for me, the clear-cut mistakes he does. Let's start off with Thomas Partey. That is one thing I've never understood from Mikel as a manager. Like, why is he so hell-bent? Why is he so obsessed with playing Thomas Partey at right back at every single chance he gets? Like, it has never made sense to me. It will never make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to me right now. Now, of course, if you are the manager, if you're Mikel Arteta, you work with these players, more time than the media does and the fans do. So probably you understand them better. But there is a proof of work, I would say there should be a proof of work basis that you work with. We could see that Timber works at right back and left back as well. So that means that if you played him at left back, none of us are really going to complain. He really works there really, really well. It's the same thing when you play Timber at right back. But when you play Thomas Partey at right back, there are two issues I have with that. One, you're playing him in a position that is really, really, really uncomfortable playing in. That's number one. And secondly, he doesn't want to be there. You're also depreciating and reducing the quality that we could have in our midfield. And that is something that I don't understand with Mikel. Like, he would rather play Merino at CDM, he would rather play Jorginho at CDM or Rice at CDM rather than Partey, and then play Partey at right back. Now, here's the problem with that. First, Mikel Merino is incredibly slow. Like, incredibly slow for the Premier League, for the Champions League, for the Carabao Cup. He is incredibly slow. So you can't play him in the CDM. It's like playing Lokonga there. When you play Declan Rice there, like, Rice is generally off form this campaign. This is like the worst year we have seen of Declan Rice ever since we've seen him at West Ham and Arsenal combined. So playing him in the CDM, which actually is a problem, already that we know, that doesn't work. Really, that doesn't work. Jorginho doesn't. I don't have a problem with Jorginho playing there because naturally, if not Partey, then I would rather Jorginho. The only problem with Jorginho playing in the position is that he's getting older, slower, and it's easy to dispossess him. And although his passing accuracy is up there, he lacks the physicality a player like Partey brings. So I'm asking one question: would Liverpool play Ryan Gravenberch at right back without Trent? No, they wouldn't. Would Man City play Rodri at right back without Kyle Walker or John Stones? No, they wouldn't. Why do we take the best player? Because Partey has been our best midfielder this campaign. There's no question about that. With Odegaard's absence and then Odegaard coming back and a few games not being all right. When Partey has played in midfield, he has been our best player. So I'm asking the question: why is Mikel, as a manager, really obsessed about playing Partey at right back? He's literally your best midfielder. Like, out of the three midfield positions, 6, 8, and 10, Odegaard has had a mixed season. The 8, I don't know. Mikel Merino has been atrocious, and so has been Declan Rice. So we can say we have not had 8 working. Nwaneri has not been given the chance. Trossard has played there before, and Kai Havertz didn't work. So it's only Partey playing in the 60s campaign that has had, that has given us this kind of, quality performance, quality assurance. I would say Raya, Gabriel, Partey, and Saka. And those are the 4 players that you can say have done their job in the squad this campaign. So when Mikel Arteta goes, I'm going to play Partey at right back, I simply don't understand that. And look at the games that he plays him at right back. Are we winning? Are we winning comfortably? Are we doing the right things? I don't think we are. So that is my problem number one. Why play your best midfielder at right back and make it like you have the worst midfield in the Premier League? That is number one. Number 2 is substitutions, right? Because listen, as a manager, I don't care if he wants to play, Timber in goal. He wants to play Havertz as a goalkeeper. I don't really care as long as it brings good results, right? I don't really care. I have a problem. Mikel Arteta's substitutions are either preconceived and they do not follow what is going on in the game, or they're horribly misguided. We've got to find one of the two. And my answer is they're horribly misguided. I want us to look back at the Fulham game, and I want us to look back at the Everton game, those 2 games. During those 2 games, Arsenal is desperately looking for a winning goal, right? Now you have Trossard on the pitch, you have Saka on the pitch, you have Odegaard on the pitch, and Kai Havertz as well, right? But the similarity between Everton and Fulham, these are 2 teams that I've shown you they're now hanging in there to go home with a point. That's what they want. They're hanging in there to go home with a point. What do we do? And this is what I don't understand with Mikel. What does he do? He decides to take off Martin Odegaard in both games without an injury. I've never understood that. Like, even if you bring on Ethan Nwaneri, you're talking about, high pressure moments of the game. You're talking about moments where the team needs their captain more. You're talking about games that are now going to be won by a difference maker. Saka, Odegaard. You need a difference maker. You need talent now. You need individual brilliance. And that's when you take off your skipper, your most creative link, your creative spark. The substitutions I've not yet understood. That is number one. Sorry about that. Now, secondly, I'm a big Mikel Arteta fan, personally. Like, there's no question about that, right? But secondly, why don't we see, we've seen a couple of times when Manchester City need a goal, Liverpool need a goal, and they just throw on Gakpo, Jota, they leave Salah on, they bring in Harvey Elliott. You just throw on that attacking power to show that you need the game more. I rarely see that from Mikel. Actually, we don't see that from Mikel. We don't see Mikel Arteta trying to go and win games. We don't see him trying to go and, just pick up points. We are looking at a guy that takes off Julian Timber to bring on Lewis Skelly. We are looking at a guy that, is so afraid of making that attacking change, especially in games where it is necessary. Now, I don't have a problem with the manager looking to be, how would you call it? I don't have a problem with the manager looking to be as safe as possible. I mean, if you don't lose, you've not lost the game. You've not lost all the points. So the principle is, if you don't win, don't lose. But the problem with Mikel is there are games that are there for the taking. Everton. Sorry about that. Everton was there for the taking, right? And I think in that Everton game, if you take off one defender and maybe you add, one or two attackers, I think there's a much better outcome against Everton or against Fulham. Now, against Fulham, he can say we were unlucky, all that. Against Everton, it was poor. It was atrocious. It was, it needed to be changed, and he did it. I think the last point to talk about Mikel, the substitutions have been atrocious. Of course, playing Partey out of his best position, that's questionable. But the signings, the signings, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, we used to say, Stan Kroenke needs to give us more players. We need to get more players from Stan Kroenke. Stan Kroenke needs to give us more money. Now, it's rare that you will hear an Arsenal fan complaining about Stan Kroenke. And that is particularly crazy, right? That is particularly crazy. And the reason that's why that is particularly crazy is this. Listen, if you have owners that are backing you, and you have the manager going into the market and spending the money on wrong players, then you know what that means. You can't blame the owners. You either have to pray that the owners sack the manager or you're doomed. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. So with Mikel, and why he cannot escape criticism is because one of the problems or one of the situations that have led to the problems we have right now is the decisions we made in the summer. Mikel Merino, we needed a midfielder, no question about that. But it wasn't Mikel Merino for me. Maybe someone it was different. We needed the winger. We didn't get one. We need an attacker. And I don't think Raheem Sterling is the guy we needed. All the summer signings that we have brought in, if you sum up their impact, Arsenal do not lose anything. Listen, if I take away Mikel Merino, and I take away Ricardo Calafiore, and I take away Raheem Sterling from this season, Arsenal lose nothing. And you know what that means, right? That means that the summer was wasted. Ricardo Calafiore up to 40 million euros, 45. Mikel Merino up to 37 million euros, right? And then we let go of Fabio Vieira, and we let go of we let go of an Emile Smith Rowe. So he's definitely been obsessed with strengthening his defense and strengthening physical players, which has actually led to Arsenal scoring corners. Because we've got to talk about it as well. As a manager, why are you just scoring corners after spending over 700 and 800 million? Why? So there's a lot to talk about Mikel. But the one thing I want to say is I'm not Mikel Arteta out. I'm following the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere. I'm not Mikel Arteta out. I just feel like there is something missing. There is something missing, and it is. Does it come by changing the manager? We will talk about that. We need to talk about that. But there is something missing with this Arsenal team. Man City have dropped 21 points this campaign, and Arsenal are 3 points above City. So we've dropped 18. If you've dropped 18 points like currently on our current form, we can only get up to 70 points. Like if 70 points from two previous seasons where we were getting to 80 plus points, something is wrong. But let me know what you think. I see you.